So I think you've got two sides, right? Which is you've got to work with the device makers to make these devices intrinsically more secure. So this is really about working with the Samsungs, the LGs, the Sonys of these worlds, and the Googles, so that that device is, goes into somebody's hand more secure by design. And then you've got the other side, which is, great, now I've got a phone, how do I personalize that to me? So the banking applications that I use in everyday life, the payment applications, the enterprise applications. And so there you've got a different orthogonal problem, which is working with those service providers so that they can secure those applications, and of course all of my personal data that's embedded in those devices. On one side, it's really about working with Google, for example, as a big operating system vendor with Android, and that's working with how do you take some common foundations and make sure they're properly implemented with all of these different device makers, whether that's a Samsung or a new startup in China or wherever else. On the other side, probably the biggest issue today actually is awareness that there is more security that your bank or your social media company or your streaming media company can make use of, and how they can make use of that in a way that's meaningful for you, which basically means how is that service going to be simpler, how is it going to be faster, how is it going to be richer, and of course, yes, it's more secure, but that I as a consumer, my associations with all of that are really about linking my relationship to the brand. So I trust my bank, which might be HSBC, or it could be Citi, or it could be anybody else. I expect them to take care of that security. As Trustonic, and we're different, right? We're neither a startup nor a large company. We are a strategic venture formed by some of the leading companies in the mobile space. And what we do is we work with the device makers to embed better security into the device. This is hardware-based security. And then we work with everybody that wants to make use of that capability. So that could be a bank, it could be a social media company, anybody who's building an application to take advantage of that technology. And when they're using this technology, not only are they making their application more secure for the user, but they're also enabling them to deliver an experience that's going to be simpler, it's going to be faster, it's going to be richer, because it's more secure. What we do at Trustonic is we work with the companies that are making the big chips that go inside the smartphone, that are running the Android or the big operating system. And there's actually better security technology already in there. And we basically put in a separate secure operating system that runs alongside, for example, Android. And what happens is when we work with a company that's building a more secure application, let's say a bank, that application uses this environment for the really security sensitive information. And by doing that, let's say there is some bad malware on that device, actually all of those security sensitive operations, whether that's the user credentials, the authentication, the data, whatever, is actually shielded and protected from that world. So the focus for what we're doing really is getting rid of those software scalable attacks that people are so worried about. We're in more than 1.2 billion devices today. We work with 18 of the top 20 Android device makers. So there's already now a good critical mass of devices with the right security in. And now we're working with people who are building the applications and services that go on those devices that are, of course, valuable to you and I, and are personal to you and I, to actually improve that security and make those experiences simpler, richer, faster because of that security.